So, why adopt an animal with special needs? Well, that's the question, huh? So we're surrounded by animals with special needs at the Good Life UK, and to be honest, we wouldn't have it any other way because they're our favourite. I really feel that this is something that gets very overlooked. When I was volunteering at a cattery, at an animal shelter in Norfolk, I often the ones that got overlooked were obviously the elderly, anything that came in a multiple, like needed to be rehomed 2 or 3 cats at a time, and anyone that had additional needs. And additional needs could range from anything from behavioural issues, you know, perhaps they were an animal was semi-feral, perhaps they had guarding issues over their food, all the way up to, you know, animals with limbs missing, animals with incontinence, all sorts of different issues, and they'll have a range. And at the moment, mostly the disabilities that we have here are limbs missing, and that seems to be quite common, particularly when rescuing an animal from abroad. I think because there's such a stray issue, a lot of animals get hit by cars, losing their limbs. They're often, you know, beaten, tortured. They lose limbs and eyes and whatever that way. Diseases also, they can have picked up on the streets, can lose sight, for example. All different issues, but mainly here we've got loss of limbs from various reasons. And with regards to Motsi, she also has birth defects, so she was born without a full sternum bone and without a proper rib cage, with one arm that is much thinner and shorter than the other one, with no paw. So she requires a special attention also. However, we are not put off by any animal, and we certainly don't take them on a basis of, oh well, we'll only take the ones with 3 legs. It's who needs us most, and that just happens to be at the moment who we have. Kind of goes for the chickens as well. You get chickens with perhaps they've got a cross beak, maybe they were born like that, maybe they've had their beaks cruelly chopped within the egg industry, and perhaps they've got 1 leg, perhaps they've got a limp, you know, all different things that can happen. And again, they're just as deserving as the able-bodied animals are. What I would say, I would always advocate for disabled animals, because like I said before, along with the elderly and animals having to be rehomed in multiple numbers, they're so overlooked. People think they're going to be so difficult, and they really often aren't. Obviously there's varying degrees of disability, same as there are in humans, and for example, Benny with his 3 legs, day to day doesn't really cause him much of an issue. He's an older animal, so he has stiff joints like older animals can get. It's difficult getting him in and out of the car, but we've adapted that. Stairs are an issue, so we have to also think of that. And he has a special harness now we have with a handle on, so if we have to, like the other day we were out and there were a few steps and he goes to the steps and sort of backs away, whoa, no, not attempting those. Whereas I have the handle, and together we do slowly up the stairs and then slowly down the stairs. So I guess to a point you have to be relatively strong because he's a relatively big dog. But what I'm saying is there are degrees of disability, and whereas we don't necessarily discriminate against that, and we would take on pretty much anything because hey, that's what we do. I do understand that not everyone is in the position to cope with, for example, an incontinent dog who has 2 legs and has to have wheels when they go out, because you may live in a small flat with stairs, or all different reasons. But please don't be put off about at least inquiring about an animal with a disability, because in the most part you'll more than likely find what you're fearing about it, about taking them on, about how much time it's going to be, how much it's going to cost, are there going to be accidents, blah 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 blah. Your fear will be less than reality. I can pretty much guarantee that, because they're going to be so happy. They're going to be so happy that you've given them a home, and one, that's going to outweigh most things. But you know, the joy you're going to have by knowing you've given them a home and a stable life is just going to be, you know, brilliant. And two, you're going to grow with this animal. You're going to know and you're going to learn with it. Everyone that I know of that rehomes disabled animals, they give you full, if it's needed, like for example with bladder expression, if the dog or cat or animal is incontinent, you'll get shown how to do that. It's not something you're going to just be left with and they're just going to go, oh, bye then, see ya. They're not. They're going to give you instruction of how to do that, and they're going to be on the end of the phone or the email or the social media. They're always going to be there to help as and when, if you need it. So please don't not adopt an animal with a disability or a special need through fear, because I really believe that you'll find that will just dissipate quite quickly after meeting the animal and bringing them into your home. Also, the animal's going to be matched up with you, so they're not going to ask someone who, for example, has difficulty with mobility themselves to be, you know, expressing a huge dog's bladder. You're going to have an animal that is right for you. So I would say if you're interested in adopting an animal with disability, speak to the rescue, speak to the people and say, you know, we're really keen to do this. However, you have these restrictions. For example, you have stairs leading up to your home, or you know, you possibly might not be as mobile as you feel you need to be, or whatever the obstacle may be. Speak to them about it, because there are people out there. They're crying for people, you know, crying out for people. They need fosters. These animals need foster homes. They need forever homes. So if you can open your heart to an animal with a special needs, please, 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 please do. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid, please, because they're absolutely wonderful. And when it comes to things like having a leg or two missing, it's not a huge deal. It really, really isn't. I'm always amazed, so often, definitely on a weekly basis, and always, if we take Benny somewhere different, we'll have people come up to us, oh, doesn't he do well? Doesn't he do well? Oh, well done you for taking on the animal. And I always find that so weird, because yes, he does do well with his 3 legs. I don't think he really notices any difference, to be honest. But what's this about? Oh, well done you, as if like I've taken on something that is hugely difficult, which isn't the case. And I always find that really strange. Do it. Adopt an animal with special needs. Honestly, it would be the best thing you've done. And if they're senior as well, then, well, they're my absolute faves, the senior ones with special needs, because I'm a sucker, absolute sucker for an older animal. And older animals often come with additional needs anyway. However, if they actually do have a disability, then I just want to help. What can I say? Anyway, I hope that has helped a little bit. If you're thinking of adopting an animal is senior in years, or has some kind of special needs and need any advice at all, then please do get in contact. I will do my best to answer any questions you have, and I will put you in touch with anyone that I know of who may be in a better position to help if I can't answer the question. So please do get in touch, and always, as always adopt and never shop. And if you like the video, please like it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe too, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks for watching.